Have you ever found yourself on a road so abandoned it feels as if you're the sole survivor in a post-apocalyptic world? Picture this. You're a truck driver, spending endless hours in solitude, your only company being the drone of your engine and the metamorphosing scenery as you navigate the sprawling interstate highways of America. But this particular night, it feels different. It's one of those moonless nights where everything is shrouded in a sinister, pitch-black darkness, so tangible you could feel it. The line between the real and the imagined thins, turning every shadow into a lurking monster, every sound into an impending doom. You're speeding down a desolate stretch of road, a forgotten strip of asphalt snaking through the barren wilderness. The only illumination is from the lights of your truck, piercing through the oppressive blackness ahead, a lone torch in the chasm of the night. Time seems to distort and twist around you, hours melting into one another as exhaustion starts to push down on your eyelids. The fight against sleep is a brutal test of survival, a challenge against the mesmerizing lull of the road. Just when you're about to succumb to the enticing lullaby of sleep, you turn a sharp corner. Suddenly, there right in the middle of the road, stands a figure. It's as if time comes to a standstill, your instincts take over, and you hammer the brakes. Your world shrinks to the ear-splitting sound of tires screeching on the pavement, the dazzling glare of your headlights, and the figure standing disturbingly in the road. Your heart thumps wildly in your chest, echoing the adrenaline pumping furiously through your veins. As your truck skids to a stop, the figure under your headlights becomes clearer, a woman. Her silhouette casts a grotesque shadow against the backdrop of the night, her arms waving manically at you. My heart was hammering as my truck skidded to a stop. The figure in my headlights was a woman frantically beckoning me with an unnerving desperation. Just as I heeded her silent command, the earth itself seemed to rebel. The world around me erupted into chaos as a massive landslide cascaded down from the mountainside. I could hear the deafening crash of boulders and earth as they collided with the road, the sound echoing through the night like a primal roar of nature. The ground beneath my truck shook with the force of the impact. It was an awe-inspiring spectacle, a terrifying display of the raw power of the natural world that left me breathless and speechless. The road where my truck would have been was now buried under tons of rock and soil, and I was left staring at the aftermath, my heart pounding in my chest. The realization hit me like a punch in the gut. The landslide, it would have swallowed me whole had I not stopped. If I had continued on my path, if I had dismissed the woman's frantic gesturing as a trick of the light or a figment of my imagination, I would have been at the very heart of that landslide. It was a sobering thought, one that sent a shiver down my spine. My hands gripped the steering wheel, white-knuckled and shaking. My breath came in short, sharp gasps as the adrenaline coursed through my veins. The close shave with disaster left me reeling, my mind struggling to comprehend the gravity of what had just happened. I sat there for what felt like an eternity, the dust settling around me, the deafening silence of the night now broken by the occasional rumble of settling rocks. I was safe, but the fear was still there, a gnawing feeling in the pit of my stomach. The woman, the landslide, the narrow escape, it all felt like some surreal nightmare. But it wasn't a dream. The evidence was there, right in front of me. A road swallowed by the earth, a truck left untouched, a life saved by a twist of fate. I sat there, shaken to my core, staring at the aftermath of what could have been my untimely end. The feeling of relief was overwhelming, but it was tinged with a sense of unease. After all, I had been warned by a woman who had appeared out of nowhere in the middle of a deserted road on a moonless night. As I gathered my wits, I sought the woman who had saved my life, only to find emptiness. The stillness of the night was broken only by the distant echo of the landslide's aftermath, a chilling reminder of the disaster I had narrowly escaped. I scanned the desolate road, the beam of my headlights slicing through the darkness in vain. There was no trace of her, no footprints in the dust, no lingering silhouette against the night sky. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. A cold shiver ran down my spine as I considered the implications. Was she real, or had my weary mind conjured her up? Could fatigue and fear have painted such a vivid picture in my imagination? But then how could I explain the undeniable fact that something or someone had warned me of the impending landslide? I replayed the event in my mind over and over again. Her urgent gestures, her pleading eyes, they were so real, so tangible, yet the reality I was now faced with suggested otherwise. Was it possible that my mysterious savior was not of this world? Was she a guardian angel, a spirit, or a figment of my imagination? The questions swirled in my mind, each more baffling and terrifying than the last. As days turned into weeks, I found myself sharing my encounter with fellow truckers, only to unearth a chilling tale. I discovered that my story was just one in a series of mysterious events that had occurred along that stretch of road. Let me take you back a few decades to a time when the world was a different place. There was a nurse, a woman of immense kindness and compassion who was known to go above and beyond for those in need. She was a beacon of hope in a small town not far from where I had my own encounter. One night, she got a distress call about a trucker who had suffered an accident on the same desolate highway. Without a moment's hesitation, she rushed to his aid, but she never made it to her destination. The nurse disappeared, leaving nothing but unanswered questions and a town in mourning. Now, here's where the story takes a turn straight out of a Hollywood thriller. It is said that the nurse still wanders the highways, an ethereal guardian angel, saving unsuspecting travelers from untimely accidents. The tale was passed down from one generation of truckers to the next, becoming a part of the lore of the open road. As I heard this story, I couldn't help but draw parallels between the tale of the nurse and my own experience. The woman I saw that night, the figure standing in the middle of the road, her plea for assistance, it was eerily similar. The uncanny resemblance sent shivers down my spine. Could it have been the nurse who had disappeared all those years ago? Could she have been the one who saved my life that fateful night? The speculation was as chilling as it was intriguing. The tale left me in awe as the pieces of the puzzle seemed to fall into place. The mystery of that night, the figure in the road, and the near-miss accident, everything seemed to connect back to the nurse who had vanished, leaving behind a legacy of life-saving interventions from beyond the grave. That night changed my life, left me with questions that may remain unanswered forever. There's a lingering unease, a curiosity that gnaws at the edges of my mind. Was it a figment of my imagination, born out of fatigue and the eerie darkness? Or was it indeed an encounter with the spectral? The struggle to understand the events of that night is an ongoing battle. I've replayed the scenario countless times, picking apart each detail, hoping to find some semblance of an explanation. But the more I dive in, the more elusive the truth becomes. It's like trying to grasp at smoke, only to have it slip through your fingers, leaving you with nothing but the faint scent of its existence. Acceptance, though, has been a hard pill to swallow. Accepting that I may never truly understand what happened, accepting that the world is bigger, stranger, and more mysterious than I had ever imagined. But acceptance brings with it a certain peace, a calm in the storm of confusion. And amidst all this, there's a profound sense of gratitude. Gratitude towards a spectral guardian angel who, in the dead of night under a moonless sky, saved my life. She stepped out of the shadows, a beacon in the darkness, and steered me away from a fate I was hurtling towards, oblivious and unsuspecting. If she hadn't appeared when she did, I shudder to think of the alternative. There's a strange comfort in knowing that there are forces at work, beyond our understanding, looking out for us when we least expect it. It's humbling and terrifying, all at once. So, as I continue down the winding road of life, the memory of that fateful night is forever etched into my mind. It's a constant reminder of the mysteries that surround us, the unknown that we share our world with. Even though the road ahead remains shrouded in mystery, I continue my journey, carrying the memory of that silent savior in the night.